Welcome along, racing world. The half-time whistle is blown. On the morning dash, you're most welcome here with myself, Dave Orton, in glorious Technicolor and HD as well. I'll tell you what, it's more like grim Goodwood yesterday, wasn't it? We'll be having a word with the Stellar panel about exactly what went on day two. What a Betfair Chase day, wasn't it? Absolutely horrible that was out there. But we are here for the Racing Post, of course, all week. Like, subscribe, comment and share in association with Unibet. Loads of offers coming your way today. Punters just fought back a little bit towards the end, didn't they? We'll be getting a word with the Brett Williams very shortly with you, but let's announce who's along the way with us. Tom Segal back with me.
Hello, David. How are you, my friend?
2 days in a row. You've been stretched out a little bit this week. How are we getting the trip?
Well, it's not too far for me, so it's okay. I'm going strong, still going strong. 3 more days to go, though.
Well, we won't tease it, but there is a race today that's floated your boat, isn't there?
Yeah, I like the Gordon Stakes. It's a really good race, isn't it? And I thought all of them had a chance. They're all, the outsider one at Royal Ascot, so...
The tips are out there now, but we're going to go through all the 8 races today with Paul Kealy as well. How are you getting the trip, man?
I'm getting the trip fine, mate. Early night. I was in bed at 9:30 last night.
We will believe you.
Nice and fresh, and that was after backing the last 2 winners as well.
Well, you're in good company. We've had some really good guests so far this week. Wasn't Matty Williams good yesterday? Derby winning rider. Mr. Goodwood himself, I think. Martin Dwyer joins us. Unibet t-shirt on. I love it.
Yeah, ambassador role for Unibet. It's my debut on the morning dash, so a little bit nervous.
Oh, come on, Martin. Don't be so ridiculous. And Brett, of course, joins us, as I mentioned. And you definitely look fresher this morning.
Much fresher this morning. I mean, I was in bed also at 9:30 last night. Not with Kealy, I should add. No, it's nice to sort of wake up this morning, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed and set fair for a mammoth 8-race card. I mean, they're not messing around with these races at Goodwood either this week.
No, we've had, of course, 8, 7, 8. A couple of boys that we went yesterday, Chris and Luke, they're 0 from 15 so far, so they're going to need some help. All right. There was a great crowd there yesterday, I have to say, actually. Martin Goodwood, I saw you from afar there on the first day. You've got some luck about you because you've won a derby and you swerved yesterday, which was well played.
I did see the weather forecast, to be fair, and I was there the day before, so took the day off yesterday. But yeah, Goodwood, I mean, what can I say? Great meeting, right in the middle of the season. There's a lot of pressure. It's a bit of a boiling pot for jockeys. It's a tough week.
Yeah, Oisin, of course, had a bit of a tough day on the first. He was on the show with us, now he's leading jockey. You just swing that way, can't it?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Oisin's got plenty of rides, and yeah, we won't talk about the Goodwood Cup, or will we?
Well, Persian Punch, I can't let me go without speaking about Persian Punch. That was a horse that really ended up, certainly flat racing. That was the one that got me into it.
Yeah, well, he was a superstar, wasn't he? I mean, He was the public's favourite. It's the way he won his races too. He'd get mobbed and he'd come back and fight them off one by one. But probably my best memory of Goodwood, winning the Goodwood Cup on him.
The earlier you kept rowing away, the better it got, didn't it?
I couldn't ride him now, I wouldn't be fit enough, that's for sure.
Again, before we get the offers out from Unibet, then let's talk about yesterday. They're on the screen for you. Magical Sunset, you gave a mention to. I can't say that you tipped it. The tipping went well, by the way. But you definitely gave a good mention to it. For another Unibet ambassador, if you're new to the show, we've been popping into Richard Allen's yard all week.
Yeah, we had a good day, didn't we, I think, overall. Oscolin winning the last. I know that was well tipped up as well. So I've learned how to pronounce that name now, Kealy, as well.
Got it right, yeah.
Well, there's your own.
But we had a good day. Yeah, Magical. I didn't back her, but I thought she'd go on the ground, and she clearly did. And it was a good result, I think, for the charity bets as well. So I think Ed Nicholson's got to get a new purchase order to try and pay racing welfare now.
Happy days, absolutely. We'll get to that. Big Evs, which somehow we ended up on, didn't we? And that was when the punters started hitting back a bit, wasn't it, I think?
Well, funnily enough, when the ground goes really bad, I think it actually makes it easier for the punters. It's ridiculous, but there's so few horses you can rule out. There's so many horses you can rule out. As we saw in the last 4 or 5 races, the punters had the best of it, didn't they? Big Evs, Paddington, the last 2. Thanks to your man on your left there.
But it was I backed 2 shorties early doors and they sank without a trace.
Well, when a 22-1 shot came in and then an 18-1 shot, you're thinking, oh my.
Yeah, but we didn't really know the first 2 races. Didn't know how bad it was, do you? And then as soon as you get the more information out there, it makes it easier, I think, the last few.
Yeah, let's talk about Paddington. Martin, we'll come to you. Remarkable season so far. It's tough individual.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously he's a smart horse. Ryan's always spoke highly of him. I think as the season's progressed, he's looked like he's wanted further, and it probably helped him yesterday. Obviously, he's handled the ground before, and the way the race was run, it suited him because it played to his stamina as well.
Yeah. Brett, come to you. Look, you said you're fresh, a curveball. I mean, he's got a range of anti-post options now, hasn't he? But favourite for the international, of course.
Yeah, he was 74 yesterday for the international. We literally, I spoke to our traders before and said, right, where do we want to go with this after? Because as you said, there are so many options where he could go. And obviously, Tom's already mentioned the Arc could be possible. So he's around 10-1 for the Arc. But obviously, that was a Breeders' Cup win in your in race as well. So we quote him for the mile and for the turf as well. And the Arc, the Jubmont. So there's plenty of options for him. But he's just a remarkable horse, isn't he? I mean, to think he started off winning handicaps and now he's... And I thought it was a lovely interview with Ryan on Racing UK with Lydia yesterday, and just sort of, it's very rare you get much from Ryan, but you could tell he was enthusiastic and he really enjoyed talking about what obviously a very good horse he is.
I think he was feeling the pressure a little bit going into that, but all good afterwards. Right, come on, let's pour some yin to the yang, some scoring on this. Is he brilliant?
I mean, he's brilliant. He's very tough though. He's incredibly tough, and he's probably running over the wrong trip as well. I think a very, very good miler would have beaten him yesterday because it wasn't a very good race, especially with Inspiral dropping out the back of the TV. But that'll probably be the last time we see him at a mile. And I know Tom's been banging the Arc drum for a while over him. He's definitely more of a stayer than a miler, so he's actually done remarkably well to win 3 Group 1 races at a mile. He's very, very good. He's very tough. He doesn't know when he's beat, does he? That's the thing.
Seems to thrive on racing, doesn't he?
Absolutely. But I'm wary of the French this year. They're winning everything. I mean, I think they've had 7 Group 1s for 3-year-olds in France. They won them all, and we've not been close.
Yeah.
Isaac Shelby.
It's hard to assess this horse, because visually he doesn't do his performance is not scintillating. But you've mentioned, Paul, he's so tough, and you just don't know how much is under the bonnet.
It up sometimes, but
he always seems to find when
there
he's
was
pressured.
a moment, in fact, Cheval pulled out yesterday, wasn't there, where you thought, "Oh, is he in trouble?" Certainly, when you're at the course, you've got the feeling he might get gubbed, as we called it, but he just pulled out that a little bit more. Arc, he's got loads of stamina on the downside, isn't he? But you have to think it's going to be international, Irish Champion Stakes, and probably Breeders' Cup.
No, I think he'll run in the Arc.
Do you?
I do, yeah, because they haven't got anything else. I mean, unless August Rodin comes back from the abyss, they haven't got anything else, and they'll have to have. They always have runners in there, unless the filly runs, but she's not good enough.
Save the last answer, of course, that is. All right, that was yesterday. Let's crack on and find you some winners. Like I say, half-time oranges are out. Mr. Williams, this is your moment to shine. Offers, please.
So lots of offers for you with Unibet today, and many things to get involved. Unibet.co.uk. If you have a bet in the first race, the 150, we will be giving you your money back as cash. Extra places each way. 5 places in that first race as well. 4 places in the 10 past 4, 5 in the 4:45, and 4 in the 5:55. Also Super Boost for you today, the 225, and then the Gordon. And then also the Nassau Stakes, so Super Boost in that as well. And I mean, you can look at this. This is how professional we are at Unibet. I mean, look at that. We've got it all on the back of the Racing Post for you. So don't take my word for it. Read the Racing Post, and also got a special welcome offer as well, Dan. I mean, we don't mess around at Unibet. If you open an account with us and your first bet loses, we'll refund you up to £40 and give you a tenner to spend in the casino as well. So would that float your boat?
I mean, I've got no chance of getting that offer ever, I don't think. But what do you make of this? I can see Tom's there. He's waiting for you to trip up your words.
Yeah, well, I was thinking he was smooth. He had 25 pints last night and he was perfect. And today he was not quite so good, I didn't think.
All right, 9 out of 10 only for Williams. All right, well, Brett will be giving us the market updates as we go along. Let's dig into the first 150, of course, and it is a rather attractive Mile 2 handicap, isn't it? With a hot pot at the top, of course. We've got some Royal Ascot form. It's the Jubmont. Perfuse. Brett. Oh, nearly got you out there as well.
Yeah, Perfuse favourite, well back favourite as well. Was sort of 4-1 a couple of days ago. Now real strong support now into 9-4. It's a race that, again, we can just going to watch it and see what happens with regards to the ground and where they're drawn and so forth. But yeah, Perfuse very, very strong, brings some smart Royal Ascot form into the race. As I said, is now into 9-4. A few others I've just had that have been backed, and Baltic Voyage has been supported into 12-1 from 18s. Could be a good day for Holly Doyle. And then a few others as well. Crack Shot 16s from 18 for Safi Osborne and Ed Walker. But no, at the moment it's very much a one horse split with Perfuse 9-4 from 4s.
Here come the girls then in the saddle. Safi Osborne's having some summer, isn't she? Martin, let's go down the line then, because this is sort of like strong play for you, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm, without being predictable, I think a lot of the favourites are going to win today because purely, I think you've just got to look at soft ground horses. I know the official description is soft, but it was heavy yesterday. I think it's going to be worse than soft today. If it dries out, it'll be even testing. So Perfuse, he's done it. He won 7 lengths at Nottingham. He won a novice on heavy ground, and his run at Royal Ascot, he was the last one off the bridle over 1.5 miles in Desert Heroes race, and he would have won narrow 1 mile too. And he just looked like he ran out of petrol late on. So on ground he likes in a 3-year-old handicap, I think he has to win.
There's a lot of talk at Royal Ascot Kills, wasn't there, about horses attacking too far in these handicaps off the
Well,
bend.
they went off at such a suicidal pace early doors in that race. It was ridiculous. I think David Deo took the entire field faster than 12 seconds or faster than 11 seconds. I think, he ran 10.22 in the second
sprinter pace,
or something ridiculous. You know what I mean? You're talking about a 1.5 mile race. So, Perfuse was the last off the bridle, and he was one of the ones that was up with the pace. And that's the thing. He was one of the few ones that stayed there. Only thing is, another one who stayed there and finished just behind him was Tagger Barra, and he's been beaten out of sight twice since. So, just questioning how strong the race actually was. I'm not 100% certain, but you saw the way he goes, and he does go in the ground. He's the horse to beat, but everyone saw him, and that's why he's the price that he is. And I've had my fingers burnt twice already this week, back in these short ones in these big handicaps. It's not what I normally do, and I've got to get that nonsense out of my head now because it's been painful. So I go with something else. Royal Rhyme has won both his starts on soft ground. He was a 5-length winner 2 starts ago. He ran in the London Gold Cup last time, so we haven't seen him for a while, and he was only 11th, but he was beaten less than 5 lengths, and it was just a remarkably good race, as it always is. 5 of the first 8 home finished in the first 4 at Royal Ascot. Desert Hero obviously won, Bertinelli was placed. I think the second and third were third and second in there to Waipiro. So it's a real strong race, and Royal Rhyme was on the bridle a couple of furlongs out, going as easily as anything, right? But given the ground, he just wasn't fast enough. And I think he's a proper soft ground horse, and I think he'll run well at a price.
It's definitely a price. Tom, you're looking to the London Gold Cup form as well?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with what both the guys say. Both by Lope de Vega, Royal Rhyme and Perfuse, and they love soft ground. He's had loads.
I'm not having that.
No. But he's had lots of winners the last couple of days.
Loads of winners. It's a bit like Pivotal. It's just a really, really good side.
Well, absolutely.
Everyone said that Pivotal.
No one's saying he's not a good side. All I'm saying is that they.
No. What I'm saying is, but his strike rate is pretty much identical from top to bottom.
But that's different from most sides. Most sides wouldn't have the same strike rate on fast ground and soft ground.
No, but Lope de Vega does.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that they're good on all grounds, but the fact that he can do it on soft ground as well is the plus. So that's why I like those horses in this race, because they like soft ground as well as liking good ground kills. But for me, Have Secret's the interesting one because he ran in the London Gold Cup, was 4th, first day on his side. He ran in the Golden Gates, Ascot. I think if you see the draws of the horses that finished in the frame, or in the first 8, I think there was 9, 8. They were all drawn high. The winner, Burdett Road, actually switched out by Neil Callan. So while he was drawn 9, he ran on the outside. Have Secret was drawn 2. Everything else was drawn 18, 17, 16. And it was one of those Ascot meetings where it was really hard to win up the inside rail. Now, I don't know if the ground was slower or it's just they all get in each other's way, but he did really well because he went hard from the start, stayed on. He won at Nottingham last year on very soft ground. I just think he'll go well, but I do think there's a chance that Perfuse is a different class to these, and that makes the race really tricky. There's loads you can make. Promoter, for example, is from a family that love heavy ground. All of his family love heavy ground. He ran in the Torito race at Ascot and stayed on quite nicely. So, and then the Baltic
Voyage looked
really
like a proper mudlark.
Exactly.
Last time. So he's
Crackshot's the top rated. The Racing Post ratings have him well clear on a novice race form, which is unusual.
Yeah.
So there's loads you can make cases for. I think it's really hard.
There are.
Crackshot ran well at Hamilton. He was beaten by Botanical, who's a very good horse, Roger Varians.
If this race had been run yesterday, I'd be really sweet on Promoter. It almost sounds a bit weird, doesn't it? But the ground is drying up, and I would have liked him to have run yesterday. If you watch back in your members club, you can do that, of course. If you're not a members club, we're going to give you an advert of how to sign up and get an offer for that coming up. But he really caught the eye at Epsom. I don't think he liked the track at all. It looked better the further he went. And this is just the sort of race that Beckett will get him in the frame for. I think he's probably a good horse that hasn't shown it yet. The Theory of Everything is quite interesting as well for John Gosden. Covered the race that he ran in at Yarmouth last time. That was over a mile. That was his experiment on quick ground. This horse, if you remember him at Lincoln Weekend, he absolutely, mudlark all over him. This horse, and I think with William Buick as a jockey, we've not heard a lot about at all this week so far. That could be interesting to him, but there are plenty more out there. Brett, have you got a tip? Sorry, Kills, go on.
Yeah, no, very interesting. We haven't talked about where they're going to go. Because I automatically assumed when I was doing the tipping on this the other day that they'll come over to the stand side as they normally do when the ground is soft. But obviously it's been opened up. Now the last time it was really bad on the Wednesday was when Here Comes When won the Sussex. In the first race on the Thursday, there was a difference of opinion. They split down the middle, and the far side against the rail was where the winners came from, and then they all stayed over there. And on the Saturday, in the Stewards' Cup, the entire field went to the other side, even though the ground was soft.
Yeah.
So obviously they're going to have fresh ground again on Saturday. But now it's not an absolute guarantee that they're going to come all the way over stand side.
Martin knows stuff about this. Is it because it's all cut up, chewed up ground after yesterday on this side and might get slower?
Do you know, yesterday was soft, heavy. If it's clear now today, if it dries out this morning and then into the afternoon, it'll become sticky. So to come over to the stands rail to sticky ground, it's probably better to stay far side. The rail has moved in a bit today, so there'll be a bit of a fresh strip on the inside. So I think Paul's right. I think we could see quite a few of the jockeys staying on the far side, whether some will still continue to come over. But if the rail's moved in, I envisage them staying on that on the inside.
They get an extra furlong and a half from the cutaway today, but it's all out.
And therefore the draw becomes more of an issue again, doesn't it? Because in the first race, it is hard, that Martin would know, the 10 furlong start. It's not an easy one to win when you're trapped out wide there. No,
I think a low draw is key. It's not so much if you're going to cross the stands rail, but yeah, I think I imagine the jockeys will walk the track, but I'd imagine most will stay on the inside, but they'll all be on top of each other searching for the best ground on the inside. So it will make it messy, and there could well be a few more hard luck stories today.
We saw that in the first race, yes, didn't we? So all right, we're going to have some fun in the first. Brett, have you got a quick tip for us in the first? We'll go down the line.
It's probably not inspirational, but I think the favourite, Pearce will.
A lot of love for Perfuse then in the opener. Martin, you're strong on this. Kills?
Each way.
Have Secret each way for me.
Yeah, all right, and I'll stick with Promoter then in a wide open race.
But you didn't tip it each way in a paper, did you?
No, I didn't, no.
Does he ever tip each way?
Can't bring yourself to it.
Sure he doesn't.
Extra value with all the places.
I know.
Yeah, all right, okay. All right, 2-year-old time to come up. A lot of chat about the 2-year-old races. Royal Ascot, of course, Newmarket, July, and here as well. And a lot of people, of course, Unquestionable is out now, would have been favourite for the Open. Ryan Camp, he's come out. Brett, what are we looking with this? It's been a topsy-turvy market. We'll get to how good the race is after that. Yeah,
so just the 7 runners. So, as you said, a quite a depleted field for it. And it's sort of almost just put Van Dijk as the favourite, sort of at a default, really. 11-8. I suppose people are looking at the fact it went on its debut at Nottingham on soft ground. Of course, it needs to handle that today. And it's a market we've just seen no support for anything, to be honest. I mean, we might see a little bit of movement closer to the time, but it's very much about Van Dijk at the moment in what's a race that probably doesn't look quite as strong as it did on original declarations. For Simon and Ed Crisford, who do target these races well, don't they? Andrea Razzini in the plate, he's drawn low. Tom, how did you like this one?
Well, he cost, I think it was the fastest breeze up horse at the whatever breeze up sale, 625,000 he cost from the breeze up, so he can clearly run fast. It was softish ground at Nottingham when he won, so I'm no surprise to see him favourite at all. It's just, is that form any good? I don't know. Is this race any good? Probably not. For a Group 2. So yeah, I get the reason why he's favourite, but I wouldn't be backing. What did you say? 13-8? Did you say?
You have put one up, of course, in your selection.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought. He was a much bigger price earlier in the week, and he's not as big a price now. But Alice Haynes' other horse, not a Sadner, who I think is a busted. Is that a non-runner?
Yeah, thank goodness.
Hello Amarati beat Big. The only horse to beat Big Evs to start with. He likes soft ground and he's desperate for 6 furlongs. He got jarred up in the Windsor Cast. It wasn't far behind, just 6th or 7th. He finished in that race. So I just thought on soft ground, because he likes soft ground, I'm sure of that, and he will definitely like going up to 6 furlongs. But if Van Dijk and Sketch are any good, they don't have to be very good to beat him. He's not a superstar by any stretch of the imagination. But if they're not brilliant. I thought he might run well at a price.
He has been hammered in now, hasn't he?
He has been hammered in. Obviously, you've got to factor in that there's been plenty of non-runners.
Still.
And although you've said, thank God that's out of Sadner, that means there's only down 2 places now. Loads of people will be on this horse.
Well, only because we've got an hour on this show, and we need 3 to talk about him, don't we?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I was one of those that wanted to take on the form horses in the race because I didn't think they'd like the ground, but then Connections didn't think that either. They've taken them out. The 2 I liked the most were Van Dijk and Sketch. I'd probably favour Sketch. Not a big opinion on the race. He did win ridiculously easy at Mead. We don't know how good that race is, but Martin Mead won that same race with a good horse a few years ago, Method, who didn't quite go on after his 2-year-old career, but
same colours.
Looked very good. So, yeah, he'd be the one for me, but it's not a big opinion.
I really like Sketch. Love the way that he went around it, and Oshin's got the fire in his belly again. Isn't he? I can see him. He was totally different class there. I'm quite keen on this chap. What about you, Martin?
I agree. I'm going to go with Sketch. It's interesting because from a jockey's perspective, when you go into a big meeting, you look at your rides, the ground is key. And the second thing is you need a horse that will travel well, but off the bridle, if that makes sense. And for me, Van Dijk, he was a breeze-up horse. He was ready to rock and roll. He missed the kick at Nottingham when he won. I think Andrea then fired him up, and then he was keen in behind. You don't want a horse that's going to run keen on very soft ground like today. It just saps their energy. So where Sketch, by comparison, he was bowling along in front.
Loved it. Lovely
big stride on him, and he put some distance between himself and the rest of the field. And I think he just looks like a horse that will handle the ground. He's out of a Sione mare, where Van Dijk is out of a Exceed and Excel mare, and he looks more like a fast ground horse, a top of the ground horse with gears and speed, where the other horse, I think he relaxes better in his races, and he just looks like he's got more potential on this ground today anyway.
We're showing our bloodstock side.
Well.
He's showcasing as well, isn't he? Which I don't want to go by our sire barometer all of a sudden, but I'm pretty sure the showcasings love a bit of hot, deep ground, don't they?
Yeah, there plenty do, yeah.
Yeah, all right, okay, not all of them, of course. Brett, quick tip.
I agree with Tom, actually. I think Halle Marati's got, if you're looking for something at a slightly bigger price, 8-1 with Unibet, I think, as I said, Step Up in Ship Should Suit goes on the grind. Got a lot of experience. So yeah, I mean, at a bigger price, Halle Marati could be one to throw into the mix.
All right then, that is the Richmond Stakes. Let's start whittling through because we've got another 7 to go away. I'm at 6 races, sorry, and it's of course it is now the Gordon Stakes. Tom's already mentioned this is going to be an absolute cracker, one of his highlights of the week, and a lot of people will be expecting Ryan Moore and Aidan O'Brien to just do what they did with Paddington last week and oblige with the favourite here, Brett.
Yeah, this is a good little race though. Espionage is favourite there at 13-8, but this will have, I think, quite an important say on the St Ledger further down the line. If those of you that sort of like to get on early, if you think Espionage will win the St Ledger, we're currently 7-1, so that price will shorten if he scores today. A pretty stagnant betting market. Espionage a favourite at 13-8, and then sort of bigger prices. The rest, Artistic Star next in there at 4s. Has been back though, Artistic Star, we should say. So this is when on ground like this, you sort of start looking at do you want to back in winning distances if that price perhaps doesn't float your boat. So if you think that Espionage will win up to 2 1/4 lengths, we're 7-2. If you think he'll win over 2.5, 2 1/4 lengths with the same price. So if you want to have a look at distances, we've got those markets for you as well. But yeah, Espionage is your market leader at 13-8. But I think this is a wide open and a real intriguing renewal.
Can I come to you then, Tom, because you said that this is one of the races of the week, is getting you excited. Am I right in thinking that you've put Espionage up for the Leisure?
Yeah, I did. Well, I did an anti-post piece a few weeks ago now, and yeah, I was really taken with him at Down Royal and last year. I'm slightly concerned about the ground. I know Aidan O'Brien in the paper says he's a mudlark and he'll love the ground. I'm not sure. Galileo and Even Song like decent ground. So I'm slightly worried about the ground because it's going to be extremes today. Whatever anyone says, whether it dries or not. If it dries, it'll be even harder work for him, I think. Yeah. As Martin pointed out. So the point is that Artistic Star's 2 from 2 on soft ground. Desert Heroes 2 from 2 on soft ground. Chess Piece loves soft ground. He's always been said that. Canberra Legend likes soft ground. So there's lots of horses in there that will relish the conditions. I'm not totally convinced Espionage will myself. So I wanted to take him on, really. I thought Chess Piece and Artistic Star were the 2 under the conditions. I marginally prefer Chess Piece just because I think he's getting better quickly.
He's really talked him up, Simon.
Yeah, I think so. And I'm not surprised. I thought he ran really well in the Queen's Vase. The ground was too quick that day. I thought the Queen's Vase was was the best Queen's Vase I've seen for a few years. I like Gregory a lot. And I think he's got a chance of turning over the favourite here.
All these great pearls then that are coming out. What about you, Kills?
Well, it's amazing how you can look at look at the same race and come up with completely different conclusions sometimes, isn't it? I think you overcomplicated it miles too much. I think it's no problem whatsoever with the ground. I mean, it was an absolute bog when he was second to Brad and Regal in France last year.
But that's not great, is it?
No, but
Do you ever get the feeling you're a tennis net?
But his arm.
You know what I mean?
No.
Sort of like I'm right in
That's
the
not
way.
great form, in my opinion.
I don't know, but the figure he ran to then is miles better than anything else he's done, and it was on awful ground.
Possible.
When he was a young horse, and he's won on soft ground. I don't think there's any problem whatsoever. I tried to get him beat. You know, me first thing I do is look at the favourites and see, can I get this beat? I wanted to give Desert Hero a chance.
Yeah, I did.
I'm wondering whether that Ascot race just fell into his lap because they went so fast, and in the end I thought he's just going to win.
All right. Okay. What do we say? I don't know. Advantage who? But let's give advantage.
Well, I don't know. Now the two experts opposing views.
They've blown your mind.
Yeah.
We'll find out about 350, I suppose.
I just think 13-8 with Unibet is going to look a massive price after the race. I think Espionage will win easily. He coped with this ground. More importantly, he showed a turn of foot on this ground, heavy ground in a Group 1 in France. The race probably hasn't worked out as well as he wanted to, but he's shown he could cope with conditions, and the way he won at Roscommon, I think it's a big price. I think he'll win comfortably. I think it'll be over 2 lengths.
Punters that were spying adrift then, Brett, might not be the case.
No, interesting. Yeah, as I said, 7-2 over 2 lengths. That's not a bad little price, is it?
I hope you're all right. I hope you're all right. I'm on for the St. Ledger. I really do.
The person who's the happiest after the event will be you.
I hope you're all right.
That's why I'm sort of saying that, Tom, because a lot of people will be thinking, well, Tom's put this up, we've backed it on Tom, on your antipode say so, but you're not sure about him here. I mean.
Well, I'm just not sure under the conditions. I'm really not, because I know the other ones love it. And people say he likes it, but I'm not convinced, because I know after the French race they said he didn't like it.
Yeah.
I know, Ryan.
Yeah, but isn't that what they do?
It is what they do. It is what they do. But then this is I think they're good horses in against
Didn't
him.
like it. We're going to drop it down to 4.
It was softer.
So,
Russell.
5 furlongs, running in the Nunthorpe.
So all of us, we're all in for Espionage, and all of a sudden you're being lobbed on the byline, all right? So
Yeah, I'm happy for Espionage to win. Don't get me wrong. I'd love him to win.
Okay, all right. Well, let us know what you think out there. Keep your comments coming in. We'll live reading these after the show. Don't forget, like, subscribe, comment, and share if you're watching on YouTube. That's what it's all about. Anything on Twitter, you can find us, of course. The Morning Dash. Welcome along if you just joined us with your cornflakes or whatever it is you're having. Let's move on, shall we? Because it is one of the races of the week. I'll just be delighted when this race is over, because if I hear the name Blue Rose Sen again, I've almost it's etched onto my retinas. The producers here, Sam and Dave, Charlie, they've all doubled it up, multiplied it with Paddington. Everything's running on. What price is the great French filly?
She's 5-6. Which is, I suppose, quite a realistic price. We know she loved the ground. She was good in the Pool de Cede Police. Similar story in the Diane last time. I mean, it's good to see Nashua bounce back to form in the Falmouth at Newmarket when we last saw her. But I just think this Blue Rose Sen is probably the best thing on the card. I mean, interesting. Martin thinks that Espionage will win today. If you think Blue Sen will win as well, we're 4-1 that both of them will win. Which again, not a bad price. You know.
Is he convincing you? I mean, he's having a good go, isn't he? Absolutely. Well, no, look, and a lot of people will be looking at that because, Kills, let's come to you here. Nashua looked like she might have gone off the boil, and I remember John Gosden, joint trainer, saying, we just think she needs a bit of racing now, and she came out in the Falmouth, and she destroyed them there.
She destroyed them, yeah. She was a completely different class. She's very, very good. I just think she's got faster, though, and that would be my issue, because she was keen even then, at a mile. And like Martin said earlier, really keen in this ground, and as she's getting faster, as she's getting older, she might struggle. Whereas Blue Rose Sen, she settles, she wins on soft ground all the time. She looks like an absolute superstar. And don't get me wrong, I think Nash was very, very good. I think she'd have beaten Paddington yesterday if she'd have run in the Sussex Stakes. I genuinely do. And I'd be, I would have only one target for her for the end of the season. That'd be the QE2. But I think she'll probably get turned over by Blue Rose Sen now, because Blue Rose Sen will go through the race without tugging like mad like she does.
Last year's winner, of course, Nashua. We've got above the curve in here as well, very good horse, Al Hussein on the way up for Roger Varian. Carnarvon, of course, who's got that Oaks form as well. Martin is again just seeing the ball big with the Fav here.
Yeah, I can't see this filly being beaten. She gets a weight allowance off the older horses. Nashua, a closest rival. Again, I agree with Paul. She pulls very hard. This race last year, she pulled like a train. She sat last, came past everything and won. I don't think she'll do that in this race today. And if she's going to pull as much as she did, she'll be treading water like she was at Newcastle when she got beat. I think I can't see beyond the favourite at all. She just ticks every box. 4-1 for her to win. And Espionage.
Yeah.
Jesus, that's a steal.
There we are.
Enjoyed your retirement, have you? We won't go there. But actually ticks every box, I think, for this filly is apt, isn't it? She's extremely uncomplicated.
Oh, she's lovely, isn't she? I mean, ever since Christopher Head got hold of her, she's just taken off, hasn't she? The ground when she won it in the Marcel Boussac was really bad. So there's no worries about her on any stretch of any way you can look at this race. And like the boys say, Nashua just pulls too hard now, doesn't she? Mm-hmm. She didn't last year when she won at Newbury. I backed her for the Oaks straight after that, and then she pulled in the Oaks, and she's not stopped pulling since.
And do you know what's always difficult when you have a horse that pulls and then you drop back? She dropped back to a mile last time, and she settled much better because the pace was quicker. Now she's got to go back up to a mile and a quarter, where they're going to go steady because of the ground. So it's mixed messages for the horse. As a jockey, that's sometimes a bit of a nightmare because you've dropped back and then you're going back up in distance. So it's not going to be easy for Holly Doyle.
No. Right, it's the Nassau then. It's the Group 1 of the day. Are we clean sweeping for Vive la France? We are.
So.
Again,
yeah.
The renaissance is on, isn't it? Well and truly. All right, Blue Rose Sen then. Banker of the day for the panel, I think. Let's move on swiftly because we've got a handicap. Is this the Nursery, this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Oh, my. Nurseries just don't really float my boat. Never mind on soft ground at Glorious Goodwood. So
not many nurseries with a horse 17 pounds well in, though, David.
Take it away, Thomas, before we go to the market.
Well, Jack Shannon's horse, Gray's Inn, is officially... What is he rate? She's racing off 73 here, and her official rating now is 90.
Yeah, on the back of the listed run.
On the back of a listed run at Sandown. She likes soft ground. There's not many you can make a case for against her, I didn't think, so... Doesn't surprise me that she's 5-2 to win a Nursery when she's 17 pounds well in, I have to admit.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Jack Shannon's, actually. Brett, let's come to the market then. Absolutely chucked in. We'll get exactly whether we can trust that or not after you've given us her price.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, to echo what Tom says, in a 14-runner race, a Nursery as well, very rare you get 9-4 favourite and then 10-1 bar. It just sort of shows sort of what a good thing or what a potential good thing this sort is. Yeah, 9-4 with Unibet. Nibbles for phone tag, interesting one. First one since being gelded, handicap debut and blinkers. So they really are sort of throwing the kitchen sink at phone tag. Is a 9-1 shot. And Richard Hannon's at Macanudo has also been strong, 9-1 from 12. Got the blinkers on for the first time, but it's all about Gray's Inn. Do you remember Gray's Inn? Mike Ducott used to train a horse called Gray's Inn South Africa years and years ago.
Oh, yeah. That was years ago.
All these horses come back with names again and again, but anyway.
We've got an hour. Yeah. We'll have that chat afterwards. You can get hold of him on social media or probably at the bar today if you're going to Goodwood. What are we looking with this?
Gray's Inn, I mean, thrown in at the weight on her run at Sandown, 4th and listed race to Shiwari, good race. Handled soft ground at Chester, so on paper, looks unbeatable, but that's on paper, and this is the type of race I can see that can go wrong, or it can be a surprise. It's just that type of race. I do like number 13 for Charlie Hill's Condé. Stepping up to 7 for the first time in a handicap. Looked good at Chester, finishing 3rd over 6. I think the step up to 7 will really improve this horse. Charlie Hill's is a flying at the minute.
Have you put someone up in? Yeah, absolutely. Have you put someone up in?
No, I was trying to make a case for phone tag the other day because I just thought his run, I liked all 3 of his runs and I think he's got a reasonable mark. But Paddington yesterday was officially £5 clear and was 2-5, and this horse is officially £17 clear according to the handicapper, and is 9-4, 5-2. Now I know, I know that you can be a little bit, you can be too much into conditions race form when you're going into handicaps. And I think the handicapper has over-egged it a little bit. I think our handicapper already gave her 85, but she's still a long way clear, and she likes the ground. That was Sandown was soft ground. She's won on soft ground. Her debut, she was half a length second to Hala Emirati, who plenty of people are backing for a Group 2 Richmond Stakes. So she's got soft ground form and a really, really low mark.
Yeah.
And I just think she'd probably win.
Oh man, it's going to be. Having been at the track the first 2 days, this is going to be almost a more pivotal horse than Blue Rose 7 for punters, because if all these shorties win, they will be steaming it. It'll be Charles Light Brigade to the bookies for this one. So listen, I wish you luck if you're with it. I'm with Keels. It's so hard to know for the assessors how they deal with this, but man, it's chucked in. Just a word for bits and bobs, Oisin Murphy and Andrew Balding. Don't know what happened at Carlisle last time, but I read the analysis in the department for Leicester win, and she was green as grass, and she got. That's not bad form, I don't think. I didn't mind the Chester run either. I thought at something of a price, 11-1. I think she'll run above her odds, but again, it's not a race that I really like. So, tip, Tom?
Well, I haven't mentioned him, but I thought Count Palatine might run well at a massive price. I know Brian Meehan's horses run really well at Goodwood, always do. For some reason, I don't know, but he put him in the Chesham second time out. It didn't show much, but I just think profitable horses stepping up in trip, 7 furlongs, nice low draw. If it helps, he might run well at a price.
Okay, all right. Kills just probably wins.
Yeah, I think Fab probably wins. Yeah, I try to get him beat, but you keep looking at it, and it's all about price, isn't it? Like, £17 well in and odds against. You don't get that very often.
All right, okay, so I'll be telling you to put the Guinness down then if Blue Rose 7 wins, because you'll be...
I drink wine at the races, mate.
when it's free, you certainly do. All right, okay, let's move on then. We've got to keep going because we've got more handicaps coming away. It's a mile handicap next coming up, and it's Galway week, of course, and we've got another horse. You see at Galway all through the week, horses turning out one day after another. We've got one, and we'll talk about it after this. How you get involved then. The offer remains out there. It's all there if you want to dig deep. I talked about a horse that's turning out quickly. It is, of course, Novus. Brett for Gary Moore. Tom Quiddy gets another go in the saddle. Roared home on the opening day. I tipped it then. I am moving off it. But some other people on this panel will tell me why I'm probably wrong to do that. Where does this one sit in the market?
Yeah, 4's 4-1 favourite. We are paying 5 places each way in this, so at least that gives you a little bit more option. For a race like this, a competitive handicap with sort of 19 runners, we haven't seen a bing for anything. Right. Really quiet. As I said, Novus is favourite and not particularly well back favourite, but just sort of stagnant there at that sort of price. Seen a bit of support for Alpha Crucis, who's 11-1. And also Metal Merchant, 7s for Jack Shannon. It could be a good day for him, of course. And actually, if you go on to unibet.co.uk, we've got loads of specials, including how many winners will Jack Shannon have as well. So that if you want to go along and have a look at that. But yeah, Novus is your favourite at 4-1 in what's it might obviously get a bit busier closer to the time, but quite a quiet betting heat at the minute.
5 places here, of course, the Unibet. You'll be surprised if that one's out of it, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I backed him straight after he finished second, or literally 30 seconds after he finished second, because he's now got stall 1 and softer ground, which are both in his favour. He's obviously got to recover from the first run when he was second to Choyja, who was one of those late gambles that Glorious Goodwood tends to be renowned for. Really last minute gamble, 18s to 10s. And came and won pretty easily, really. But he's got an awful lot in his favour if he's over it, and there are loads of horses that have run more than once at Goodwood, haven't they, and run really well both times. So, but I back 2. He's the one that's shortened, and the one that's a lot weaker is Sky Sail, and I think Sky Sail is very interesting as well. And if I was gonna have a bet now at those prices, I'd be backing Sky Sail rather than Novus. Marcus Tregonin said he was really looking forward to him as a 3-year-old last season, and this year he's actually run 2 career best. Both times he's had easy ground. Second last time at Ascot was good, and I think even softer ground is going to suit him. And the one run in between was on very fast ground, so that sort of backs up the theory that he's going to like the surface today. And I just think he's a horse that might go forward, and Tregonin is another trainer that likes to have a winner here.
All right, okay, tricky handicap right up your street, I imagine.
No, not at all. I think it's absolutely impossible.
I served you up there for an easy ace. Right.
Listen, Novus is the obvious one. She ran really well earlier in the week, didn't she? I just have it in the back of my mind. A mile stretches her slightly. Could be wrong about that. I think she's the obvious one. When I was looking at this race last night, I didn't know where they were going to go, but the more I think about it, the more I think they'll probably stake down the inside, which makes the draw a much bigger thing than I was thinking when I first looked at it. Seagulls is on Novus in 1 and Sky Sail in 3. The one I liked was drawn, the two I liked were drawn right on the outside. Glenn Finnin for Andrew Balding, who had a great day yesterday. He was second in the Convivial last year in front of High Royal, who was placed in the Guineas, as we remember. And the one I really liked was Lunatic. It was a massive price yesterday. It's a totally soft ground pedigree, trained by Hughie Morrison. He, on his first run on soft ground at Windsor, he split Peaceman, who is now rated 104, and a horse of Rafe Beckett's, who's now rated 97. And he was back to do so, and he's rated 80 today. So on that form, he's got a good chance, but stall 19 is putting me off him massively the more I think they're going to stick up the far side. So it's a really tricky one. Novus is the obvious one because we know she likes it here and we know she likes soft ground.
If they do stick far side for Novus, all these people that are wondering exactly how it's going to play out the race, it could get could this. We haven't seen one of those hard luck stories on the inside. I'm not jinxing it for you, Gills, but she could be it. And because she is a horse that will need the luck, I think, coming through. If you remember on the opening day, she steamed down the outside, clear run at it, Martin. How would you be? Where would you want to be drawn in this?
I wouldn't want to be drawn 1 on Novus. Well, it sounds silly, but she's going to come slowly out the gates as she always does. If you're having a bet on her, you're having a bet on whether she's good enough to win and whether she's going to get a run through, because they will be stuck to that far side, all fighting for the fresher ground. Tom's going to have to come through the whole. She's going to have to pass 17 horses to win if she jumps like she normally does, and if she'll either go up the inside and maybe not get a run, or come on the outside on the churned up ground. So I think it's a big task for Novus. I think it's going to make life, 18 runners, drawn 1. It's going to make life very difficult for her. It's going to be a big performance to win that from that draw.
So what catches your?
I like Man of Eden, drawn 10, smack bang in the middle for Harry and Roger Charlton. They've had a slow start to the season, but this horse has been running with credit in big handicaps. His last 2 runs have been really good, staying on well over a mile at Newmarket, 7 at Haydock. I think he's coming to form. Vice often he should like the ground. Harry Davis takes the ride, really good young claimer, claiming 3 off this horse. So running off a mark of 80, I think he's like 12, 14 to 1. I think he's a massive price, probably. I can't see him out the 3.
His run a couple back at the track, a lot of people thought he was a bit unlucky that day, didn't they? I must admit, he does catch my eye a little bit. I'm hoping Ryan Moore is the secret to success on Metal Merchant, who was a right old eye catcher at Ascot. And I can see why there's been money for that. But again, still 12 will need a little bit of luck. This is tricky, Brett Williams.
Yeah, it is. I think probably the favourite, to be honest. I've not got a strong opinion in it. And as I said, I don't think any punters have as well, to be honest. As I said, that's why the market's so quiet.
Yeah, all right, okay. All right then, that's the tricky handicap coming for your way. Just if you think it's going to get easier, the penultimate race, I'll tell you what, it's Ladies' Day at Goodwood today. There's a lot of fillies at Goodwood, and mainly races I'm talking about. We always seem to be talking about fillies races. And we've got a 7-furlong maiden coming up, Brett. Is Ornelia now the fab with you?
Yeah, she is. She's 11 to 4. I mean, obviously there's very little form to go on, so this is when sort of to follow the market is probably quite crucial. Get Jiggy with its a little bit of support for that one, was 4 to 1, now into 100 to 30. Really darn hot for Ollie Sangster and Hoydur. This one by Too Darn Hart making its debut today, a 12 to 1 from 14. Richard Hannon's got one in it, a filly called Gashan. I spoke to him yesterday and said, what's she been showing? He said she'll need it, he said, but she's a very, very, very smart filly. And she's in there at 14 to 1. She's actually quite weak, she's out from 9th. But Richard's horses do tend to come on for their first run, but she could run a nice race and finish in the money. So 14s might not be a bad price each way. But yeah, Ornelia sets the standard on on that sort of price, 11 to 4. But you wouldn't want to be taking any sort of shorters, I wouldn't have thought.
We've got Classical Song as well, and lots of these horses with Ryan Moore, Rafe Beckett, cost an absolute bundle. This one, is this a bit of a guess up, or you think experience will sway?
Well, normally at Goodwood, experience is a big thing in these 7 furlong races, because especially if the boys are right and they stick down the far side, you get out, get in front, get on the better ground with the experience. And Ornalia's drawn in trap 4, and I expect her to be really hard to beat, actually. I think the form of the Newmarket has worked out well, hasn't he? The winner went and won the Group 3 on Saturday, Sacred, whatever, Mark Johnson's filly, Charlie Johnson's filly. So I think she's the one to beat. I am interested in Classical Song on pedigree and on her sales, because she was very expensive second time up. She went to the sales twice and cost 400 and something thousand. She's by Lope de Vega out of half sister.
Love the ground.
Not going there. And I just look on pedigree. She's the best filly. She's the nicest filly in the race on pedigree, but I think Ornelia will probably win it. Yeah,
I must admit, when I was asked by Dave Lowe, our senior producer here, to get in my selections, like all of you, extremely early yesterday, Ornelia was second fav.
I've had to give him Fridays already.
Exactly.
When the deck's out for Saturday, we'll have to go there, will we? Ornelia was second fav. She's now found herself to the top of the market. Get Jiggy With It was the original fab. And you watch back the Newmarket runs, you're a little bit unlucky not to win those. She was drawn away from the Godolphin winner who had the rail and was very green and hit the line. I don't know. Ornelia lengthened really nicely on Sacred Light, wasn't it? Of course, the one Princess Margaret. That's top form. She will be hitting the line hard. But I don't know. I'm a bit surprised they're flip-flopping.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how strong the form is for either. I was quite interested in Get Jiggy With It, but it's a guess-up race for most people, isn't it? I don't think it's a superstar that has run, but the others have still got to run to a certain level to beat them, haven't they? The two that interested me, they're both by Inns of Court, who has a soft ground, a mudlark grazing as the strong favourite for the Nursery. And so that sort of half interested me. One of them was Gazwa, but if, as Brett said, that she's expected to come on for the run, then if you need to run on ground like that, you're going to be stopping quickly in 100 yards. But the other one was Imperial Express, who was quite expensive, 175,000, and is a half-sister to Ebro River, who's a group winner on soft ground. So there's a bit
Hood? You're happy with a Hood first
time?
Hood,
that's going to be the...
Yeah, but Ebro River was a bit loony as well, wasn't he? So
he was a bit, it's just first time. Obviously, she pulls hard, doesn't she? Yeah. Because otherwise, they wouldn't put a Hood on.
She pulls hard, and she's probably a bit flighty as well, maybe. But, it's a double figure price.
Baldings have won this race.
Double figure price, and it's a tiny bet race anyway.
It's been backed as well.
Has it?
Yeah, 14s from 20s.
That's in the bits and bobs colours that we mentioned in the Nursery. Martin, if you were sitting on one?
I didn't realise Paul was the pedigree expert.
He's been really well for this morning, isn't it? This is what happens when he goes to bed at half 9.
Exactly.
Lots of pedigrees.
Yeah.
Bed at half 9, I was up at half 12.
Back out again at
Guilty
half 12.
conscience, guilty conscience.
Yeah. Technically today, Kills. All right, if you could sit on one.
Ornelia, I watched the race back and she looked, when you watched it visually, you think that wins next time. Very green, stayed on it. And then when you see the winner went and won a Group 3 at Ascot, Sacred Angel, she was called. She went and won at Ascot. So yeah, Ornelia, it'd take a good one to beat her first time out. Experience counts at Goodwood when it comes to 2-year-olds. So unless something's really backed heavily first time out, I'd expect this filly to win.
I'll tell you what, we're going through the card, aren't we? So the favourites are pretty strong today. Martin said that, and all right, let's hope we've given you the winners so far. We'll be giving you the charity bets after the last race, and I want to be coming to Paul Kealy very shortly here. We've got a 5 furlong burn up. It is the 3-year-olds. Brett, we've got a well-back favourite. Yeah,
Holcombe Bay, 3-1 from 4s. Real strong support for this one, stepping back down in trip. Obviously, first start in handicap class. Desert Games has been nibbled at in the blinkers for the first time. 14s from 16s, but no, Holcombe Bay. I know Kealy's quite sweet on that horse, but no, yeah, Holcombe Bay is the one. They've all backed in the lucky last. Going to be quite tough out there by then, but we are paying 4 places each way in that as well.
Well, you'll be hoping that it does.
3 points win, David.
Well, this is what we've got to come to this.
This is big time.
It's only the second one this year. I think the other one won.
I know, exactly.
All right, toss of a coin. We came into this room yesterday, and you said, Dave, come and have a look at this, please. And I assume we were going to be looking at something to do with Paddington or something like that, but no, it was this chap. And it was the Doncaster run over 6 last time.
It was Doncaster run over 6 last time. 9-1. There was 2 horses in the race there, evens and 6-5, and he came straight out the stalls, just broke really, really smartly, and away he went in front, went further and further, clear, 5 lengths, 6 lengths clear, still clear at the furlong pole. tied up in the last 50, 60 yards, just got caught. Now, he had him beaten pointless at 5 furlongs. That was on good ground, but if you look at his action, you look at his pedigree, it's soft ground all over. It's
pedigree.
He's all over
by
it.
By claim, the Dam showed the best form on soft ground. The Dam sire was Captain Rio. He won a Group 2 race in Maiden Lafitte by half the track on bottomless ground. It's all ground. He's going to love the ground. It's going to get out there in front. Only rated 80. I cannot believe it's going to be anywhere near as low as 80 by the end of the season.
Tell you what, some of our Bloodstock Supremers, Scutsy, Kitty Trice, who was at the track, they could be expecting you to sit next to them now in the office. You're doing it's marvellous, man. So this is a 3-pointer. We've got enough time, actually. When Paul was the betting editor, I occasionally used to get asked to do the tipping copy. When he was desperate, you see, he used to ask me to do it. And I remember it was a quiet day, and Royal Ascot was on the horizon, and I said to him, look, can I put up just a couple of 1-pointers today, and then I want to put a 4-pointer up. And he went, he's got to win. And I have to say, 100% record, it was Usherette in the Duke Cambridge.
I'm surprised I didn't tell you could only have 3.
No, don't get me wrong.
There's an absolute limit on it.
I'm not Robbie Wilders, he's broken that, hasn't
people
he?
back there used to do 10 and whatever.
17, 19 and stuff, and then say they won for the year.
So we get rid of all that rubbish. You know, 3 maximum. Give people an idea of how much you fancy one, but don't go mad.
You were happy to see the back of 10-point Tom Collins then, weren't you, basically? So, yeah. All right, okay, so look, but 3 point is when you are really, this is like...
Yeah, it's one I really fancy. I've had a proper bet, and I've had a decent each way double with Grays in, because I just thought the extra places in both races is absolute knock.
All right, okay, Martin, 3-point win.
Yeah, well, I'm putting my neck on the chopping block here. I'm going against him. I don't think Holcombe Bay will win. I think he's too fast to win. By 5:55 today, it will either be even softer because it's rained, or it will be dried out so much it'll be like glue. This horse goes way too fast. I know he's dropping back to 5. It's a stiff 5 uphill. I mean, to say he was running out of petrol at Doncaster was an understatement. He was like Brett in that Indian restaurant when he ordered that extra bottle of wine. But 2 minutes before closing time...
He wasn't running out of petrol.
He was going strong.
That was the tank.
This horse goes way too quick in front. I think he'll be taken on by Dave Evans' horse, who's drawn close to him.
Yeah.
I just can see this horse folding up the hill the last half a furlong. I think he is a good horse. I think the ground will get him beat today. I think it'll suit a closer coming from just in behind the pace. I think it's a tough race to call. If I had to choose one, I would go with Another Bar. If you forget about his last run, because he was lame afterwards, his form before that was pretty smart. Adrian Kealy trains him. I think he'll be closing from just in behind the leaders. I just think Holcombe Bay is very open. I think he'll get beat. Sorry, Paul. Hope I'm wrong if you've had your money on.
You're going to be sorry at 5:57.
Shall I have a bottle of wine on it? bottle of wine.
Right,
Wine. Oh, wine. Where is it?
Williams will be with you. So we've got to go and find Callum Shepherd, and just tell him to have a little bit more patience.
No, the horse will do it. The horse will do what he does. But he'll stay.
All right, I must admit, I think he'll take a lot of beating as well. But the more the sun starts to shine, this was yesterday, the heavens were opening, you thought he's just going to get everything out of their comfort zone, which we saw a couple of horses do, of course, yesterday. Where are you sitting with the fun, Harley?
It's not my type of race at all. 5 furlong moderate, 5 furlong 3-year-old sprints aren't my cup of tea at all. But Keels would be much better at this type of race than me, and I think Holcombe Bay's got a great chance. And Democracy's Dilemma is another one. I mean, if Martin's right and they cut their throats and set it up, then yes, then it's anyone's race. But as it stands, I think those two stand out. I really do. Holcombe Bay will do for me. I won't be watching. I'll be getting ready to do the evening show.
Well, you're quite right, absolutely, which is coming up at 6 p.m. And so you'll be hovering either way. You're the tennis now for a bottle of wine.
I'm Thundermore, 9-1. Could be quite progressive for George Bowie. Just 2 starts for the new trainer. Was with Kevin Ryan before that. Buick up today. Just think a bit of a price, 9-1 Thundermore for me.
Okay, all right. That is the final race then. Holcombe Bay. You've seen the 3-pointer up there. 3 of them with Martin, Lay, and Brett taking a bit of a flyer as well. Okay, that is all 8 races done for you. Pretty good time, gents, as well. We've got 5 minutes to go, so we can talk about the fact that me and you somehow got a charity double bet over the line yesterday. We doubled up, didn't we, on Flora of Bermuda?
Yeah, good performance. No, nice to see. Because I said I backed it on all of its 3 starts before and got beat on every single one.
So well yesterday.
It's good performance. Yeah,
so what are we doubling up with here? Charity bet time coming up, £25. from Unibet going to Racing
I
World.
wonder what Keels is going for. Does
I
anyone
don't
got a
know.
guess? Anyone got a guess?
Has he put the double up? All right, should we get out of the way then?
Yeah, we go Holcomb Bay.
Lovely. All right, Mr. Williams, come on.
I'm going to go for Hala Emirati in the Richmond.
Tom's loving that.
Yeah, like that one, Brett.
Is it the penalty? I don't know. Martin Dwyer, your morning dash debut and charity bet.
Yeah, first race Perfuse. I think he could be a group horse and a handicap.
Oh, this is sounding strong, isn't it, Tom?
They're all so boring, aren't they? What is it? No, Brett went out of
Yeah, he
bounds.
did.
I'm going big price. I want to try and win some money. Lunatic.
Is that his way?
On the nose, always on the nose.
Yeah. All right, okay. The badly drawn lunatic.
Yeah, badly drawn.
Who knows?
We
the
don't
badly
know.
drawn?
We don't know yet.
All right, half-time whistles played. I think Sketch in the Richmond will hopefully prove too good, and maybe Middle Park and something like that later on for him. So that is your charity bets. You can see them on the screen there. I know a lot of you like to put them in some sort of ACCA. Good luck with that today. This is it, gents. Super duper. How are we feeling about the day ahead? Are we all going?
Yep.
Tom's obviously not.
Yep.
You are?
I'll be there.
We know you
No,
are.
I've got a table booked in the local Indian, so I'm.
That's where I'm going. We're there.
Got to finish that bottle of wine.
Martin, you're back on track. Meeting kills down. Where are you going to meet for the 5:55? You're going to have to watch this together. We'll get a camera down.
I'll wait till 5:58 and see what the result is.
Foot down. Yeah, all
I
right,
suppose
great.
I'll be able to catch her, will I?
Martin, we're used to working
I know
together.
he was quite lame when he walked in this morning.
We're used to working together. It's been an absolute pleasure. You got your T-shirt on. It's been great to watch you go into this broadcast role since you've been on the sidelines or whatever. And I really enjoyed having you with us. You gave us some great insights.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, all right, Martin will be back, of course. Unibet ambassador Tom, you'll be back.
Yeah, tomorrow I'm here.
Love it, Keels. More coming your way then. There'll be Golden Mile Day, do we call it that? When of course that rail moves out. But today the sun's out. It's going to be dry. If you're going to Goodwood, have a glorious day. From us all at the Morning Dash, enjoy it.